Greetings, Mech Warriors. I have found the official Errata document for the third printing. I'm going to go over, in all the nitty-gritty detail, everything that's new in this Errata document. I will be giving you what has been buffed, what has been nerfed, and I will be going over anything that changed for clarificatory purposes. Note, there may be some things that were changed that aren't in this document, because tiered skills no longer exist, and I didn't see that mentioned here. Also, as we all know, the character creation chapter has been changed, and that's not mentioned in here either. But I will go over everything that's in here, which is a significant amount. And FYI, I might have overstated how much the character creation chapter has been changed in the last episode, but that's just because I'm excited about it. Now that the character creation chapter, the new one we have, is reorganized. As I said, there are new words in that chapter, but there's a significant amount of old words that are in there as well. So it is very much new, and it is heavily massaged, but it is not completely rewritten, just moderately to significantly rewritten, in my opinion. Okay, first thing I want to note is this sentence right here. Please note that in the interest of brevity, typo and minor formatting corrections have not been listed unless they affect an understanding of the rules. So we can assume there were some of those made, but we're just not going to see them, and we're not going to go over them. Now, this document is 10 pages long. The first 8 pages or so contains all the errata for the second printing and the third. The last couple of pages contains all the errata only for the third printing. So that's what we're going to look at. Here we are, new additions. So first one is consciousness check. We have a new subsection with this 1 2-sentence paragraph, and it goes, becoming conscious. A consciousness check is made in the end phase of a combat turn for each character knocked out in a previous turn. Those that pass wake up. I am so glad that this was put on page 184. This information has always been in the game, but 184 is in a combat chapter for the core rules of the game. In previous printings, this information was located in the Tactical Combat Addendum chapter, a chapter for additional rules for tactical scale combat, which is mech scale combat. So if you're not using this game for mech scale combat, you're not going to read that chapter and you're not going to know about this rule. But now, it's in the core rule section and we'll see it. Thank you, Catalyst. All right, up next, fatigue accumulation table. There's been a change to the footnote. Before this printing, 0.5 would round up on this table. Now, 0.5 rounds down for the fatigue accumulation table. Let's take a look at that. Here is the table. It lists a bunch of things that might cause you to take fatigue. We only care about the last 3. Let's zoom in on those. Okay, we want to look here. So, being in high or low gravity increases the fatigue you take by some multiplier, as we see there. And if the result of that multiplier gives us a 0.5, we now round it down. So being in high or low gravity is less fatiguing than it used to be. The last 2 lines have 4 traits, glass jaw and handicap, as well as toughness and fit. And those, if after you do the multiplication, you get 0.5, you round it down, everything's a little less fatiguing for you. So those traits have been buffed a very little bit. So overall, I'd say this errata change is a buff. Moving on to Range Master. This is a special pilot ability, and it used to read as follows. The Range Master ability grants the warrior mastery over any range band except short, open paren, minimum, medium, long, and so forth. We are changing this by deleting so forth and putting in extreme. That makes sense because in this context, there's only 4 range bands to talk about, minimum, medium, long, and extreme. So saying so forth instead of extreme is just not ideal. So there's a clarity errata. Up next is the sniper special pilot ability. It used to read, the sniper special pilot ability reduces all range attack modifiers by half. Now it reads, the sniper special pilot ability reduces the medium, long, and extreme range attack modifiers by half. So it no longer reduces the short range modifiers by half. This overall is a nerf to the sniper special pilot ability because we're reducing the modifiers. Modifiers, if they're negative, are a bad thing. They make it harder to shoot things. So before, all the modifiers at all the ranges for range would be reduced by half. Now, all the range modifiers at all the range brackets except for short are reduced by half. So it's not reducing as many modifiers. This makes sense because if you're a sniper, what are you doing shooting things at short range? So that's a nerf. Moving on to energy weapons. ER laser rifle, change the AP/BD code from 4B/4 to 4E/4. This is a clarity change. So AP stands for armor penetration, and 4B stands for ballistic armor penetration. The type of armor penetration is ballistic. 4E stands for energy. The type of armor penetration is energy. And this is a laser rifle. Laser rifles are energy weapons, not ballistic weapons. So this was just mislabeled. So this was a clarity change. Nothing was buffed or nerfed. Okay, up next, fletchet weapons. M&G fletchet rifle, change the cost/reload code from 75/2 to 200/8. This is a huge nerf for this weapon in terms of cost. So the cost right there, that refers to how much money, or C-bills, you have to spend to obtain the weapon. So before this printing, the weapon cost 75 C-bills. Now the weapon costs 200 C-bills. More expensive. This reload, that's the price tag for a magazine of ammo. It's how much it costs you to reload the weapon. So a full mag used to cost 2 C-bills. Now it costs 8. This gun got expensive. All right. Next up, missile launchers. The MK2 man-portable AA weapon, under Notes, delete encumbering. So this weapon got a buff. It is no longer encumbering. Up next, Ordinance. So Ordinance in this game refers to explosives mainly, from small hand grenades and flares all the way up to mortar shells and missile launchers. And we are adding in a footnote saying, if a flash attack exceeds the bar of the defense, if any, you are considered blinded for a number of turns equal to the flash damage. Ordinance appears to have gotten a buff, because presumably they couldn't cause blinding, and now they can. All right, weapon accessories. Gyroscope harness under Notes. Okay, so to understand this, you gotta know what a gyroscope is. And to appreciate what a gyroscope is, you gotta know what a semi-portable weapon is. So let's go look at some semi-portable weapon information. Once I find it, I'll fast forward. All right, I found it. At the highest end of the machine gun scale are personal autocannons. These semi-portable weapons provide a massive rate of fire, but their multiple barrel design, coupled with their extreme size and power, preclude typical recoil compensation modifications, causing many to mount them on gyroscopic harnesses or on tripods. Their weight and size make them a rare choice for mobile support. Okay, so a semi-portable weapon is one that's really big and bulky. And a gyroscope helps you carry it around, helps you move it, and reduces recoil. I can find a picture of one for you. There's one. There's a semi-portable autocannon. Now we can understand what the gyroscopic harness does. So first off, it's encumbering. What it used to say, in the old printing, I have it right here, was simply recoil +1 and encumbering. In addition to that, we have allows use of semi-portable item by single operator. Open paren item/harness combination is encumbering. Okay, so now it is possible for one character to carry around a semi-portable weapon. Yeah, you can just walk around with a giant Gatling gun, like the Terminator did when he just busted into the underground bunker and when John Reese was there, and there was the picture of Sarah and it burned up and there was a fire in the TV. Anyway, we're not talking about that now. But yeah, you can do that, which is cool. So semi-portable weapons got a buff because the gyroscopic harness got a buff. All right, up next, special game rules for personal armor. And we are inserting this sentence. New sentence. Personal armor cannot be worn with an exoskeleton or power armor. Yeah, that makes sense. Because you know some min-raxers are out there. It's like, I want to wear my Kevlar suit with my bulletproof vest and my awesome helmet. And then I'm going to jump into my power armor. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. No. We have a sentence saying you can't do that. And that makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure that power armor is another word for battle armor. And if it is, then yeah, you really shouldn't be wearing any armor while you're in battle armor, because in order to use battle armor, you got to put on a full body sock that has some electronics in it to change your body motion into battle armor motion. So it makes sense that you couldn't just wear more personal armor while you're wearing battle armor. It wouldn't work. Okay, standard armor kits. Under Comstar/Word of Blake, gloves, change the equipment ratings from E/XAA/A to B/AAA/A. This makes lots of sense. So if you don't know what these equipment ratings are, I'm going to explain them to you. There's 3 sections here. There's the section before the first slash, which has an E or a B in it. There's the section in between the 2 slashes, which has 3 letters in it. And then there's the section after the last slash. The first section is it's the tech level. It's how advanced the piece of technology is. And all these ratings are A through F, with A the most primitive and F the most advanced. So apparently, a simple pair of gloves was E, which is fairly advanced. Now it's a B, which isn't too advanced, which makes sense because they're just gloves. Okay, moving on to the middle section. That's the availability of the piece of tech in one of the 3 major eras of BattleTech. The first era is any date up to 2800. The second era is any date from 2800 to 3050. And the third era is 3051 and beyond. That X there, the X right here, means it doesn't exist in that era. So apparently, before the third printing, Comstar did not have access to gloves in any year prior to 2800. That doesn't make any sense. Now, as you see, there's an A there. So gloves are readily available for Comstar in all the eras, which is good. And FYI, this last section, that is legality. How many certifications do you have to legally own the piece of tech? You know, sometimes you have to have some certifications to own some sorts of weapons and whatnot, and that's what that is there for. You have to have the equipped trait to determine what levels of tech you can get to. All right, up next, repair/salvage gear. Fission/fusion repair kit, under notes, change encumbering to mobile. Okay, so this repair kit got a buff because it's no longer encumbering. And the last one we already did, it's just the fatigue accumulation table again, except it's saying to change it in the back of the book because all the tables are located in the text that explains them and in the back of the book as well. In case you just need a table, go to the back of the book. And that's it. That's everything in the Errata document for third printing of Time of War. Happy min-maxing, gamers.